If we just look at some common chords in the key of D major, D, B minor, G major, A major, we can use a simple pattern to create rhythm and lead lines around the chords. Once someone showed me this simple connection, I never forgot it because it sounds good, it's connected to the chords, and it just can be a vehicle to get you to other places on the fretboard, other scales and chord shapes. So if we look at D major, looking at the root here of the full bar chord, but we're just, the note below is an A, hitting the D note. That little movement there, 5th fret of the E string, 5th fret of the A string, and then sliding from 7 to 9 on the A string. Just that simple movement for the major chords. G major, looking at the root, I'm looking at, when you play a full bar chord here, these two strings right here, put your first finger on them in the 5th fret here on the A and D strings. The same movement there. So 5th fret of the A, 5th fret of the D string, and then 7 to 9 on the D, which you're sliding up to a B note, which is in the G chord. These are just notes in the chord, but you're playing them in a musical way. A chord. Putting your first finger here in the 7th fret. So 7 on the A, 7 on the D string, sliding from 9 to 11 on the D string. C sharp right there, which is in the A chord. I'm going to show you how to extend these up the fretboard a little bit. Now, we're sliding up to the major third of those 3 chords there, but for the minor chord, you're going to slide up to the minor third. So looking at the B minor chord here, so we have 2, 2nd fret of the E string, 2nd fret of the A string, then 4, 5, the minor third of the B minor chord, the D note. So all of those together, that is just a great exercise in itself. And these are movable, these ideas. You can, not just a D chord, you can do this for an E chord 2 frets up, or a C chord. These ideas are movable. So again, D, B minor, G, A, D. Now expanding these ideas, we have that same movement there. If we just take that up an octave, another octave, but it all centers on the root note of the chord. Like we learned a few minutes ago, right below is that A note. 2 frets, slide up 2 frets. The same, I really want you to visualize this stuff, not just look, oh, this is F sharp and E note. You need to know the notes, but really thinking about the shape of this movement here and the shape of the chord. You just locate a root note, and here's the 7th fret of the G string's another D note here. Right below is an A. So 7, 9, sliding up to 11. And then here's another root note on the E string, 10th fret. So we have 10th fret of the B string, 10th fret of the E string, then 12, 14. The same thing you can do for each of these chords. For these major chords, because we're getting into the way the guitar's tuned here, you have to shift a little bit, but it's still the same thing. You're hitting a D, G, A, sliding up to the B. But I'm basing that off of this full chord here. But if I look at the triad, another G chord here, the D shape here, that's how I like to look at that. So we have the D and the 7th fret of the G string, G note in the 8th fret of the B string, then 10, sliding up to the B note in the 12th fret. And you can bend these. And the same thing for the A. This is the same movement. Just really try to look and get that pattern in your head. So extending it up. 9 on the G, 10 on the B string, 12, 14. But looking at this A chord, but a D shape. And also you can extend these up with the minor chord. That same movement. So right here, it's the F sharp, B, C sharp to D. But I just look at, see the chords, see the shape. Now this movement, 4th fret of the D string, 4th fret of the G string, 6, 7 on the G. Continuing up another octave. So 7th fret of the B string, 7th fret of the E string, 9, 10. Or you can bend that slightly, which sounds great. Watch this. Hugs that B minor chord in the key of D. So you just bend that up a half a step to the D note from the C sharp to a D. And just make sure you're getting it to pitch by hitting the note afterwards. So now with those simple chords that are movable, we can play all over the fretboard here. I hope you got something from this chord trick lesson. It's not really a trick. It's using the notes in the chords with movement to sound musical, just not playing straight notes, but you have a little movement. That little slide helps huge. But just creating a sense of melody, lead lines, and even your rhythm. You can use these movements in rhythm also. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and remember, God is good.